Okay, you guys, look, I know this is none of my business, but I have to ask, what's Sheldon's deal?
What do you mean deal?
What's his deal? Is it girls, guys, sock puppets?
You're riding Morning Shotgun with the Armchair Quarterbacks. We're here weekdays, streaming on the Armchair Quarterbacks app. Download it today. Your first choice for sports talk here on the First Coast.
If I could get out of this place.
This portion of the show is being brought to you by The Best Things in Life, which are still free with minimum purchase at participating dealers.
Hey, Jacksonville, winter is the perfect time to start planning for your healthy, pest-free spring lawn with True Green, America's #1 lawn care company. True Green's science-based approach and local expertise will help give your lawn the year-round care it needs to be thick and weed-free. Go to truegreen.com/radio to save 50% on your first service. Just call 866-946-5956 or go to truegreen.com/radio today and get a lawn to be proud of.
What do you believe in then?
Well, I believe in the soul, the small of a woman's back, the hanging curveball, high fiber, good scotch, but the novels of Susan Sontag are self-indulgent, overrated crap. I believe Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. I believe there ought to be a constitutional amendment outlawing AstroTurf and the designated hitter. And I believe in long, slow, deep, soft, wet kisses that last 3 days.
Oh, my.
Armchair.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, y'all. Get your morning started off right. Weekdays with the Armchair Quarterbacks, riding shotgun with you wherever you're heading.
Early in the morning, I say good morning. Hello, and how are you?
Armchair.
He only has 3 rings.
I'm 7-0 this season. You auto-drafted. That's what all the great GMs do. They delegate.
You didn't do anything.
Yeah, I did. I set the cue.
Without fantasy football, what would friends talk about?
I almost wore shorts today.
Oh.
I was going to do a sweatshirt shorts combo. Switched to pants instead.
Armchair.
Dread running to the post office? Stamps.com brings post office and UPS services right to your computer. Send letters, ship packages, and get up to 40% off USPS and up to 62% off UPS rates. Nearly 1 million small businesses use Stamps.com to save time and money. It's a no-brainer. So skip the post office and visit Stamps.com. Use promo code LISTEN for a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale. That's Stamps.com, promo code LISTEN.
This is Jim Rome. Join me in the jungle for your phone calls and the biggest names in sports. Stop by weekdays, noon until 3 Eastern, 9 to noon Pacific.
If dating is the game, then marriage is winning the game.
Yeah, if you're playing in the women's league.
We are the Armchair Quarterback Show, your first choice for sports talk live from the First Coast.
Take the scenic route in the new Hyundai Santa Fe, the family SUV with available H-Track all-wheel drive to help you travel way off the beaten path. Find new adventures together in the Hyundai Santa Fe.
You're listening to CBS Sports Radio. We are all sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Expect it here.
Welcome to the Handicappers. Dive into the world of fantasy football, year-long, and your DFS payouts. Only true true Southern football kickoff show that talks the spreads in Vegas, your DFS and fantasy, in your year-long quest to win that fantasy football championship. Only on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel. It's the Handicappers. Welcome to the Handicappers. Welcome to the Handicappers. Turn that down. I'm Mac McGee. And Sean O'Toole, how are you, sir?
I'm fantastic. Ready to talk some little bit of fantasy baseball, and then see if we can get this mock draft up and running. See if I can get myself another A score.
And Steven, how the hell are you? Sorry, I got like 9 keyboards over here. Hit the wrong button, so I disappeared. Steven, how are you, sir?
Well, I'm doing great. Like Sean said, like I'm ready to get into some football. We got a little baseball talk first, but yeah, football's right around the corner. I'm super excited for it.
Well, let's go ahead and dive into the baseball because the football is going to be starting. I'm going to set that up. So y'all go ahead and take the baseball away.
All right, no, I'll go first. We just wanted a couple. We just wanted to cover a few waiver wire pickups to kind of help you in that last minute playoff push. Or even some players that may help you in the playoffs if you're there. First person I'm looking at is Abraham Toro. He has been absolutely on fire since coming to Seattle, batting .432. He's got 3 home runs, 6 RBIs, and 37 at bats. Seattle just as a whole has really been a surprise second half of the year, and I love for him to keep that going. Another player I am really looking at, if you are actually no, I'm kind of doubling down on some guy. Someone I mentioned last week, Rowdy Tellez. He is still on fire, still hitting home runs. Looks like he has won that first base job in Milwaukee. And this week coming up, they face I think only one left-hander. So he should be in the lineup a lot this week. Another good opportunity for a lot of fantasy production. Still low strikeouts and hitting the ball hard. The combo you want to have every day of the week.
Did anybody stream Max Fried last night? Fantasy baseball hitter. He split the gap, baby. Double.
Yeah, he did.
Seitzer
loved it. I enjoyed it. Sticking with the Brewers, I'll grab 2 really quick so that we can kind of move on eventually to the mock draft here. He's 73% rostered, which isn't exactly chicken feed, but I can't believe he's even that low. Willy Adames has a 3.1 WAR in baseball in the 64 games since he was acquired by the Milwaukee Brewers. Just to give you an idea of where that sits, that's the same WAR as Shohei Ohtani in the same period. And I don't think those 2 guys are viewed in the same class of players.
Yeah, I don't mean to cut you off, but real quick, I can't see the screen that we're going to be using. So when we get about a minute, or let me put it this way, when they put us into the draft rooms, could someone let me know and then I'll share the screen, okay?
Heard.
I don't want to be like fourth round and everyone's like, why is he change the screen? I can't see anything. All right.
We may have to audible on that because there's 6 minutes to go and we're still the only 3 in that room unless my system's just behind. So
it's 3 minutes. You have to refresh it.
It's
okay.
fine.
I gotcha.
It's fine.
So cool. So Willy Adames 3.1 WAR in 64 games. He was, not rarely does Tampa trade someone away and they get better. That almost never happens. But he was overly aggressive in Tampa. He was one of the most aggressive hitters in the first 2 pitches of the count. He's shown a lot more patience in Milwaukee. Clearly counts.
You know why that was? Because he had Wander Franco over his shoulder, and he's like, "I gotta
exactly,
get maybe they're not gonna let me go stay at shortstop if I'm drawing walks."
Exactly, but I mean, he's been a 3 to 4 WAR player, so 73% is kind of insane. That's not a position where there's a ton of depth and quality once you get past the top 5 to 7 names. So if he's available in your leagues, especially if he's available in a dynasty league, go grab him right away. The other guy I want to mention really quick, because he's been pitching, I think, really under the radar well lately. His ads are up 20% in the last week, is Logan Webb out in San Francisco. If you haven't watched as many Giants games as me and Mac do, because we tend to catch a lot, he's actually one of these interesting weird pitchers. He kind of drops down 3/4 a little bit, and kind of deceives you with his delivery. Not Cueto, like a little bit different, but he throws hard. I mean, he's in the zone. He doesn't throw a fastball. He throws a 94-mile-an-hour sinker, a changeup, and a slider. So
he's
all
actually
the stuff
more
that moves.
available than you would think because of the injuries at the beginning of the year. So I think he kind of got forgotten about.
Yep, he's 46% in Yahoo right now. I mean, he's only allowing a 185 WOBA right now, which is like people are not hitting off of him at all. 203 BABIP on grounders is unlikely to continue, but I mean, they don't even have Longoria back yet, who's a first-class third baseman. So we'll see how that continues. But if he's available in your leagues,
I feel like he's been out for like a year and a half. I mean,
as someone who is 44 and once threw his back out brushing his teeth, I can tell you once you cross that Rubicon, it takes a while to come back from anything. So we'll give him a pass on that. But he's someone that you can get pretty quickly. And again, he's throwing that sinker 33.5% of the time, and people are not hitting it, not one iota. So Logan Webb, Willie Adames, grab them immediately if they're available.
Yeah, no, I love that. Let's see, McGee, we got 30 seconds till the draft room opens. Well, like in those 30 seconds, I just want to mention one more player. Kind of been the weirdest thing I've seen. Ranger Suarez. He was moved to be the closer in Philly, was absolutely dominating, and they decided to make him a starter. And so far, like he only had one start, got 3 innings, did pretty well. So like once they get him stretched out, he could be a very useful piece for like a few spot starts if you're deep in the playoffs.
Quick before we jump in the room, just one quick baseball question. How do you guys feel about this just insane number of young arms that
it's open?
Managers just aren't letting go more than 3 or 4 innings. I'm talking about like Spencer Howard was a top 5 pitcher in the Phillies organization. He was part of the Cal Gibson trade. The Rangers are only letting him pitch a few innings. Josh Fleming in Tampa Bay. It drives me crazy because there's no, especially if you're in a league where you're unfairly ranked in, say, innings pitched. There just aren't a lot of guys that throw 6-7 innings every 5th day anymore. I mean, I don't think that list is 25 names deep at this point.
I think they're just getting a lot of data that a lot of these guys are not good that third time through the orders. So they're just trying to minimize that risk.
Yeah, I think only your really elite guys are being looked upon. And really, what I think it comes down to is veterans. Like the veterans know how to adjust. The guy, they may not even have as good as stuff as a younger kid would. And I don't know why his head popped in my head, probably because Steven's on the show. But let's say he's healthy. Sixto Sanchez has much better stuff than Charlie Morton, right?
Right.
But Charlie Morton's going to get deeper into a ball game because he's been there, done that. He's been through the wars, and we saw how he progressed throughout the year. He started getting all his pitches back, and here we go, right? So I think, and I also think with the younger guys like the Sixtos, and I know that's kind of a bad example because he's injured right now, but we'll just say like maybe not like a Max Fried, but we'll say like an Ian Anderson type when he comes back. They're so worried about Tommy John around the corner that they try to get many starts as they can out of the guys and don't worry about as many innings. Which, by the way,
you're kind of seeing the same thing out in Detroit right now with Casey Mize and Stubble.
Yep.
The other day on the Take Me Out to the Ball Game daily show that we do, that's just like sports in a flash, and always do a this day in history. Looking at Cy Young's numbers are just out. It's stupid. He had 7,000 innings. Like, how is that ever going to get touched? There's no way. And I get it. The first 3 or 4 years of his career, they actually threw underhanded in Major League Baseball. It looked more like a really more difficult version of a fast pitch softball than what we see today. But still, after 1893 all the way to 1912, where he played, it was mandatory that it was overhanded of some sort. So, I mean, I'm like 7,000. This guy was pitching like every other day. It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
But before he was in the Hall of Fame, I had beaten the drum for a while for Jack Morris. I always thought Jack Morris was a no doubt Hall of Famer just because of the era he played in. You go back and look at like everybody else in his era. There weren't dudes pitching seven scoreless for the most part. I mean, there were Nolan Ryans and Tom Seavers, but Jack was 7 2/3, 4 runs.
All right. Well, the fantasy draft is beginning, so let's get to getting. Steven's going to start off, and since I'm kind of hosting this one, I'm going to do a little bit of here and there, but basically, I'm going to take myself out of the running pretty early on this. So where are we at, Rhett?
I nominated Christian McCaffrey, and they got auto raised to $67. And okay, yeah.
Look at that. Now
I am out. That's 76.
Out.
See, like we're already seeing one of those times where
I guess I'll actually try to play a little bit because I don't know what happened to Joey. His birthday was yesterday. He went to the Cubs White Sox game and his phone's not on. So he could be he could be
he could be no longer on this mortal coil at this point.
Yeah, he could be face down on Michigan Avenue right now for all I know. Getting stuff done to his butt.
Whoa, calm down.
Whoa, easy. Hey man, those homeless dudes don't play. All right, so the next guy to go is Dalvin Cook at 61. I'm trying to position myself. So while we're talking about this and just kind of throw out the idea, and we don't have to go in like a list or whatever, but I just want to kind of start the conversation today of sleepers and busts as they come about when we're drafting today. Guys that you're like, man, I'm not paying that much for him in an auction league. And then other guys you're like, you know what? I think this guy's a steal. So in a $200 league, Henry and McCaffrey are going above 70. You do that, you're
done.
I mean, you better hope they don't get injured. Either that or you go all in and you go get 2 or 3 really good guys, and then you just sit back and just basically wait to draft the rest of your team.
Yeah,
I think there's crazy depth at running back. It's just not. I'm not interested in that price, but that's me.
The first year we did this, I went with that theory because I was curious because we did 2 or 3. I was like, you know what, one of them, I'm just going to go balls deep here, and I'm just going to start throwing, money at the beginning. And I got 2 or 3 really good guys at the beginning. And then that famously was the year that Le'Veon Bell did not play. And I forget what the deal was with Gurley, but he didn't play much. And those 2 guys I threw all my wad in on, right? Chubb was 64. That is high. And I want to say I put a lot of money in on a quarterback too. So anyways, the point was I had 3 guys that had no money left. And that year was terrible. I was like, I'm never doing that again.
Look at the screen. Speaking of a guy I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole right now, Jonathan Taylor. Woo! I'm not buying that he's 5th overall.
That one's strange for me because
you're going to see an 11-man box for the first 3 weeks, Chief.
Absolutely. You know what I forgot to do? All right.
$57. Stop that.
It's not even that. It's not even like the whole Carson Wentz injury for me. It's the fact that Marlon Mack is back, and people are just kind of writing off Marlon Mack. I mean, he is a real contributor. He's a real player.
In the weeks where Hines and Wilkins were healthy, which they kind of went back and forth, Taylor wasn't the third down back on pass downs because he's not the most adept pass catcher, So they would put Hines on the field. They've got 4 running backs in Indianapolis. Everybody's just acting like they're penciling this dude in for 1,700 yards and 12 touchdowns. Look, my son loves the Colts. I'm going to watch every Colts game. I ain't buying it. Not one bit. And especially if Nelson starts the year injured, which looks likely, come on.
I love the talent there. I don't love the situation. I mean, and again, Frank Reich, he's said it before, and he's proven it multiple times. He loves, in his offenses, he likes to spread the ball around. He's not going to, we're not going to see a true bell cow workhorse back. Nope. And I mean, for me, it's just, I'm not spending first-round capital on Jonathan Taylor.
So I know it's an auto draft, but if this was a real person, Team 7, speaking to Dave's point, has 3 players and now has $22 left. Like If you paid anything for this league, you just flushed it down the toilet because you're done. You got nothing. You got to still, it's a 15-man roster. You have $22 for 12 players, which means you can't spend even $2 per player. So it's just horrible. And I see live people do this in leagues I've played where they just spend at the top and then grab a bunch of $1 guys at the end. And I mean, that's the ultimate Russian roulette. It couldn't be me, but
I'm trying to.
One thing that was
screen. Y'all, from y'all's view, do you see just what I'm sharing, or do you see the whole screen?
I see just what you're sharing. It's just kind of like a cut and paste.
Okay.
That's off for rushing yards for me.
Okay. All right. So I'm not too concerned about seeing all the stats because then the screen itself gets way too small on the YouTube feed. But there a second ago, I thought I was doing something good having it zoomed in, and I looked over here at the feed that goes on YouTube, and it was just nothing but a small box with a big black surrounding behind it. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So as I go to mess with these around, I apologize. I'm just trying to get the best look for everybody. So all the big hitters are going. Barkley for 59, Adams for 48, which is relatively inexpensive. I didn't see him go. Elliott 63, Hill 57.
And these are going to be a little bit of inflated values just because it's the computer. Like I'm seeing like I don't think we're going to see anything this high, but no, it's definitely
Although I was in one last night and I was surprised how high some of these guys went. I'll share my results here in a second when I can find them, but it was just like, man, the first few rounds, everyone was paying around $10 more than what you're seeing on the average salary, right? And I was like, what the hell is going? And this is a real league, and I was like, what in the hell is going on in this thing? I ended up with a pretty stacked team, but I'll have to figure out which. I'm in so many leagues every year. I have to find out where the hell I was when I drafted that. But okay, so Aaron Jones $47. His projected salary is 52, averages around 52.
Now we're up to 57.
Yeah,
Couldn't be me.
I like it was, like in that 46 to 50 range. I was loving the Aaron Jones, but once Dave's going 58.
Well, I wanted to see how high the computers would go, but I guess I'm going to get stuck. But it is what it is.
You got him.
I got him. He's all mine. Oh man,
there's going to be a fight now.
I've got to find this league because I think y'all can be what?
$42. Antonio Gibson just got raised.
I think he will go higher than his project. Well, he's got 46 is projected. I think a lot of people are going to take more of a chance on him than they will go. What did Taylor go for in this draft? Something ridiculous.
57.
Yep, 57.
Yeah, I'd probably be more inclined to grab at Gibson because he's supposed to be the lion's share other than McKissick probably catching out of the backfield.
I don't think McKissick's going to be a factor at all this year. I mean, I think that was mostly a product of Alex Smith not being able to throw more than 5 yards downfield.
You want to talk about sleepers? Gibson's a huge sleeper for me because he's basically getting drafted as the RB11. And if you take a look at some of his advanced numbers, especially yards after contact, and the fact that this dude's only been playing running back for like 2.5 years, like he didn't go to Memphis as a running back. This dude's the sky is the limit for this guy. I'm a huge Gibson believer this year. And I actually like that team. I sign me up for weeks of Fitzmagic. I can't wait.
So the salary cap draft that I was in a couple of days ago that I was just talking about, and I ended up like waiting to draft because these guys were like blowing their load early, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna watch them do it. It's a money draft, but it's not a big money draft. Long story short, I ended up with Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray at quarterback because everyone was out of money. So I was like, well, here we go. I got Metcalf and Cooper and Woods as my receivers, and on my bench because everyone was out of money, I also got Kupp and Julio Jones as my receivers. Oh, and also Adam Thielen. It's my turn to nominate here. We'll put Eckler in there. And then running backs, I ended up with Chris Carson, DeAndre Swift, and Gaskin and Mike Davis. And also Darrell Henderson. So I've got good depth along the way. And then tight end was Kyle Pitts. I didn't end up with a second tight end because there weren't good ones available. I was like, screw that. And I did end up with the Washington defense as well. But there came a point 12 to 14 rounds in where everyone was out of money but me. And I was like, bloop, bloop, bloop.
Speaking of money, like this system is like the computer is like draining me for Austin Eckler. It was 48 projected and it was raising me up to 53.
That's high.
That's insane.
All right, I'm going to nominate here. Just let me get a. So I like for me, I got Calvin Ridley here. I like he's my top receiver, so I'm going to get DeAndre Hopkins off the board. A lot of times I like to throw players out there that I'm not necessarily interested in, just to have people blow their money. And like when we get down to the players I actually like, it's makes things a lot easier for me. But yeah, system here going 49 for DeAndre Hopkins at 40 with 46 projected. What is
really high
right now?
It's just really high. Doesn't
it
doesn't do it for me. I mean, I listened to a deep dive on the Cardinals last week, and I didn't realize how mediocre they were offensively. Like their expected points averaged and like all of the advanced Kyler numbers as a throwing quarterback from the pocket. Like he was down with like Joe Burrow and people that just, his value is totally as a scrambler, which, kind of undercuts Hopkins' value to some extent. So I don't know. I'm not a big believer in Kingsbury. So I'm that's a stay away from me.
What about
that
Mixon this year? Mixon's always overrated. I think this year he could be a little underrated.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he's in a good spot. What do you say, Trosh? I've been burned by him too many times. I can't draft him. He's killed me like 2 or 3 times.
No, he's definitely burned me. It's just, he's been one of those players where when he's on the field and healthy, he produces like an RB1, but he hasn't actually stayed like healthy long enough to actually fulfill that. But I mean, right now, I'm in a bidding war. He's projected at $43 and I'm bidding in the low 30s right now. Like my offer is going to be $32. I mean, I get this price, give me all the Joe Mixon. But no, like as a whole, if you can get Joe Mixon at a value, go ahead and jump all over it. I know Brian's probably watching this and loving some Bengals talk, but.
Well, I just feel like he's going to come back. He's now going to have Burrow. They've got a pretty good offensive line. It's been improved. The receiving core is, I think, solid. I think he's going to have opportunities to really blow up. Would I have drafted him last year? Hell no, because he was going for around $50. But this year, right now, 39 by the computer, and his average salary is 39. He's projected 43. I don't know if I would do the 43, but it would really depend on, like, if I look around and go, oh man, my team's sucking. I better grab something. Same thing with AJ Brown. I think he might be a little overpriced this year because Julio may steal a lot of his receiving yards.
Well,
yes, he may.
I think the addition of Julio not really kills, but it really hurts Derrick Henry's value as well. So, I mean, I think with how long he's been there and how long he's been that workhorse, they're going to want to preserve him a little bit. I can try to make a truly deep run in the playoffs.
Yeah, I can see that, but he's also the guy in that backfield. They don't have any. Look, they brought in Brian Hill, but that guy's literally just going to be there in case there's an injury and maybe some third down work.
Yep.
I still think he's going to get you 20 yards. If he gives you 20 carries a game, which I think he will, he's going to bust 1 or 2. He just always does. So you get tired of tackling that tank. You're like, dude, screw this, man. Y'all pay me a lot, but y'all don't pay me that much. Go. God, dude. What about this guy? Is he overpriced at 30? He's averaging 34.
Najee Harris. I love his potential. I mean, he's got
terrible offensive line though.
Terrible offensive line. Cannot be understated.
Yeah, but I mean, like, there's been so many times where like it looks like there's a team has a terrible offensive line coming into the season, and they manage to just find the right group of guys that click together. So, I mean, for me, it's more of a he was the top running back. He is going like in the draft. He's gonna get the top running back in this offense. If that Big Ben looks anything like a competent quarterback, I think he could be in for a huge year.
I'm damn sure not going to let the computer get him for like 20 something bucks. I can tell you that right now. But like he's projected at 36, averaging 34. That's probably about right, depending on where he gets nominated in the draft. If he were to get nominated much later, then you could probably get him cheaper. But that's just kind of so okay. Let's go with that strategy. Do you like to nominate the really big names first, or do you like to go with the mid tiers, or what? If someone's auto drafting, by the way, I'm gonna nominate a bum, so they get stuck with them. Go ahead, Steven. Sorry.
If it depends. Like usually, if I'm in the first couple of rounds, I'll throw out the big names. But I always like to throw some, like I like to try to sneak in some of like the lower ranked players that I'm high on. Like, I'll throw them like 4 or 5 rounds ahead of where they should be going, just to, maybe save a few dollars on them. But no, for the most part, I try to stick with, like who's sitting right there. Sean?
Yeah. So for example, the last guy I drafted, once it's out of the first couple of rounds, I mean, in the first couple of rounds, I'll just nominate, whoever's the next highest ranked player on the board, because I'm usually not too high. I'm just not a big spender in auctions. I'm not, you're never going to see me spend over $60 on someone unless I'm really convinced that they're going to take off this year. But an example of what I just did, putting up Scary Terry. I mean, Scary Terry's numbers with Alex Smith and who was the guy that played in the playoff game? Taylor Heineke. Scary Terry's numbers are nuts, and he's never had a wide receiver across from him ever, and now he does. And he has a professional quarterback in Fitzmagic, and I mean, I'm very, very bullish on Washington's potential this year. So for $20, given what he's already produced,
you think it's Heineke starting?
No, it's Fitzmagic.
By the way, that was a flat out steal. DK Metcalf I got for $13.
Nice.
Justin Jefferson went right before for 13 as well. I mean, I know he got hurt.
I didn't see that.
I didn't see that one either.
This is what happens when you have a bunch of computers that blow their load early.
That's what
I mean, outside of us, it's all the computers are under $25 left. Which
means they can't even spend $2. Yep, they can't spend $2 per player, so it's cherry picking season now. It's basically just the three of us. Yeah. So here's a name. I just don't love CEH. I just don't love him. Not a fan.
I don't either.
I think he's undersized. The fact that they were so squeamish on using him last year, when you saw other rookie running backs get plugged in, I don't know. He's got Miles Sanders only worse written all over him. I just couldn't touch him if I wanted to.
Yeah, but if he's going for $16, you're going to go for him, right?
Oh, hands down.
Maybe. Is Andy Reid gonna, who's he gonna bring in off the street? Like, who's still there?
Stevens, so that this thing doesn't drag out forever. But typically, I wouldn't let him go for $17. I would take it up a little bit if I got stuck with him. Fine, but if not, then I've got a decent flex or depth on my team.
The guy who I'm about to nominate, probably one of my favorite sleepers of the season, probably one of the best receivers in the league, Keenan Allen. Right now, projected for $36 and he's only going for $24.
Did he get traded to the Dolphins?
What?
Did he get traded to the Dolphins?
No, I wouldn't want it. I'm not. That's a whole separate conversation.
By the way, the Dolphins wide receiving core, which is really good, is like, I don't want to touch it because I don't know what the hell to do with all that. There's so much talent that's going to be in that receiving core, but then you got Tua throwing the ball. I don't want to touch it because even down to the rookie from Alabama that they got, was it Waddle? Like,
yeah.
How's he going to get on the field?
What do you mean I was going to get on the field?
Will Fuller's going to be back after game 1. And I mean, all in all, I think Miami's got a pretty good, Parker. I'm forgetting somebody, but I was looking at this the other day and I was like, my God, like
really not though. That's about it.
I thought
like there's other smaller pieces, but I mean, it's Waddle, Fuller, Parker, Preston Williams, Albert Wilson, and then Gesicki at tight end.
Preston Williams is the one I was thinking of.
Preston Williams may not even make the team this year.
Okay.
I will say though, the Miami receiving core and just that offense in general, I love it more as a real life offense and like not as much for fantasy.
Yeah,
at least right now.
Gesicki's going to get his catches too.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the Dolphins' offense will be good and like good for real life. They'll be good for the team, but I don't think we'll be seeing many fantasy contributors out of there, save for maybe Gesicki and Myles Gaskin in two quarterback leagues.
All right, well, I would be gun shy to draft any receivers for Miami because I think they've got a lot of talent, and that doesn't necessarily mean that that's a good thing because you want a team, you want Allen Robinson, for instance, because everyone else on his receiving core sucks, and you hope Justin Fields ends up becoming great partners with them.
That was actually kind of my point with Keenan Allen. I mean, he is the only. I mean, like there's Mike Williams out there, but they got rid of Hunter Henry. There's really not much depth behind him, and Justin Herbert's going to be throwing the ball 40, 45 times a game. Yeah, I want all of the Keenan Allen, the number one receiver, one of the best route runners in the league. If he stays healthy, he has top 5 receiver written all over him. I mean, I have no idea why he's going so low. Like he is, I'll be surprised if I have a team that doesn't have Keenan Allen on it this year.
Well, I think a lot of people are gun shy because he's battled injuries, but I'm with you. He is basically the Los Angeles version of Allen Robinson. He's he's pretty much all they got. I mean, I get they got Eckler, but as far as the actual, they don't have Hunter Henry anymore. So instantly, your quarterback's gonna chuck it to who he's familiar with. And how many times are we gonna be sold this bill of goods about Mike Williams?
It is a bill of goods at this point because I don't know how many more years I can hear it.
Okay, and just I know you say people are gun shy, but in the last 4 years, Keenan Allen has missed 5 games. He has been on the field. He's been healthy. I don't know what the hang up is for like the last 3 out of 4 years, 102 catches, 97, 104, 100 catches, 1,000 yards in all of but last year, which we had 992.
The only
as a guy who has owned him for multiple seasons, it's not about the games he plays in. It's about the games where he leaves in the second quarter with a hamstring injury. Because I bet if you go look up that number, it's 3 times what you just said. I'm just saying it.
All right. That's fair.
But I'm with you. He did have 100 receptions.
He's productive. He's
year.
insanely productive. You have to live with some of the down weeks. He's going to have them, especially with a second-year quarterback who might go through, the sophomore blues.
I'll tell you what he's done for me as a fantasy owner. Because as Sean says, I've had some cups of coffee with him. He has performed until you get to the end of the season, and then he has fallen off the map. And when that happens, you get really pissed and you hold a grudge.
No, that is definitely fair. But I mean, like my only point with it is, I mean, I just got him for $12. He's going on average for $24. He's not going to be your number one receiver. I mean, if he's your number one receiver
in an auction league, if you can get him for $12, forget about it. I do that every single day. And
even for $25, I do that every single day of the week.
Right. Sean and I just had a bidding war over Kyle Pitts, a rookie tight end. When was the last time that ever happened? Is anyone touching what I say is just basically a nuclear situation between Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith in New England, as long as Cam Newton's the quarterback?
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take flyers on Jonnu. I mean, like I've seen some videos out of training camp where they've been using him more as an H-back instead of a tight end. actually giving him some carries. So yeah, I mean, I can definitely get behind some John Nukes. I mean, they're both of their prices are not going to be super high. So yeah,
$12 for CD Lamb is a steal, especially in that offense. I mean, once, if Dak's shoulder is fine, and honestly, even if it's not, I think he's basically the number one in that offense. Cooper's been, depending on the leagues, their ADP has been pretty even, but I mean, I think CD's the clear number one on that team. That's a hose in there.
Yeah, I mean, I was just about to ask your opinion on that, on them, because I love CeeDee Lamb as well. I mean, honestly, it all depends on the health of Dak Prescott. But I mean, if he is healthy, I will take any of those receivers at their ADP.
Remind me, who's the backup? Because the Red Rifle went to Chicago. Who's backing him up? Do we know?
Oh yeah, shoot! I was watching it the other day. It's crap. It's on the damn tip of my tongue. Give me 1 second.
Speaking of people that I've burned and hate, this dude right here, Mr. Lockett,
Gilbert.
Woo, he is.
Yeah, Gilbert. I was like, Gilbert.
Oh, Gary Gilbert. Yeah.
That's still around. Look out.
But here's the thing. They've got talent on offense, so I almost think it doesn't matter who's under center as long as he can throw the ball in a straight line. People are going to catch it. And their defense is still awful. I mean, they're going to be in 42-35 games all year.
No, man. There's a big difference between Gilbert and Dak Prescott.
I didn't say there wasn't a difference between them. I just think from a fantasy standpoint, you're talking about, CD would be at a B+ level. With Dak, he's at an A+ level. I think he'd be B+.
We saw him with
technically on the depth chart. It's Cooper Rush. So
oh my Lord,
there's that. And Ben DiNucci is 4th string. I think it's a very big deal. Dak Prescott.
DiNucci.
I'm surprised they did not go out and get some kind of a security blanket.
Somebody.
Because last year showed that you needed a quarterback.
So it appears as though we all like J.K. Dobbins. Here we go.
I wouldn't say it's just more of a I didn't.
Ingram's finally out of there. You know what I mean?
Right. Ingram's gone.
I didn't realize David Montgomery went, so I need a running back. I only have CEH.
Man.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of Dave ended up with J.K. Dobbins. I don't think I'll ever see that. And this is, I can almost guarantee you, if Dave is drafting J.K. Dobbins, he's going to pay $10 for Gus Edwards and 5 picks.
30.
Oh, Miles Sanders. Gross. Nope. Sorry. Not touching you.
Yeah, I'm just, especially with all the Deshaun Watson rumors now.
Go ahead and double down, Steven. Get CEH and Miles Sanders in the same backfield.
Wait a minute. What Deshaun Watson rumors? Are there rumors he's going to Philly? Oh my God.
Yeah,
please
there's
let that
trade rumors.
Yep. But
oh my God.
But last night the rumors got squashed. But I think where there's smoke, there's fire. Yeah. It would not. It makes a lot of sense because you would get a quarterback that you could mold for Houston in Jalen Hurts, and then they would obviously have to give a draft pick. That the problem is if you draft or if you make that trade today and you're Philly, whatever draft pick you give them, dude, I'm not giving them a number 1 pick because we're probably going to suck.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's probably going to get suspended for 8 to 10 games. Next thing you know, I'm picking up DiNucci on the waiver wire.
Okay, so here's my actual favorite rookie running back this year. See how you guys feel about this one.
Trey Sermon.
Pains me to say it because of where he went to college, but man, is he good.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can never talk me out of a running back inside of a Kyle Shanahan system. I will say that. I was actually just looking at Raheem Mostert, because he was sitting there so low. He's averaging only $3 now. It's I've always been so far against Raheem Mostert, but now with Trey Sermon here and him almost overtaking him ADP wise, sign me up, Mostert.
I mean, he's coming off double knee operations, right? That he struggled with all of last year, and Mostert's been around the league for a minute. I mean, we all had him at some point in any of his previous stops. I would be more worried if I had Sermon about Jeff Wilson than I would be about Mostert, but that's Yeah, again, Shanahan's he's gonna have to run the ball to open up play action because that's the only thing Jimmy can do until he gets Lance in there. And once he gets Lance in there, good Lord, he might be running the wing veer. I mean, he might have all 3 running backs in there at the same time.
Yeah. Debo Samuel in the backfield.
Exactly.
All right. So how are you guys feeling on Mike Evans and Chris Godwin?
God, I just don't want to.
It feels very New England Patriot-ly.
Yep, it really does. It feels like there's going to be 3 guys with 70 catches and 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns. And if you overpay for any one of them, it's going to be like that game they do at baseball stadiums where they're like, follow the ball under the helmet. Like you have to keep an eye on it week by week. It's going to drive you mad.
Is this going to be one of those, so basically is the answer here going to be just draft Antonio Brown for free at the end of drafts?
It could be. I mean, if you've got Wilson or Godwin, why not? What's it going to hurt?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. I feel Lions questions coming my way. How do I feel about this guy?
I'm saying.
What do you feel about that guy?
I feel like we're going to be 6-11, and he's going to get a lot of run early in the year. And if he gets hurt at any point, you better have Jamal Williams. That's exactly how I feel about it. He's super talented, though. I mean, I love him.
I wish that this was a real league because he's my 4th running back now. I've got real quick. Let's look at our team. So, after Steven nominates and we get through that, we'll take a look there.
I'm basically going to get Chris Carson for free. So,
yeah.
I mean, I think it's a good get. If I didn't already have what I have, I would. All right. So here's Steven's team. He's got Ridley, Lamb, CEH, Carson's as his number 2, Evans as his flex, and then Waller. Sean, where's Sean's? Oh, here we go. McLaurin, Robinson, Gibson and Montgomery in the backfield, and Sermon as his flex.
I love that.
And then I got Kittle for like $5.
Yeah, I know. I saw it. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, screw it. It was you look up, there's 1 second left. There's just no way you're going to click it in time.
Well, you and I went in a bidding war for Pitts, which I'm on the record for my my fascination and admiration.
Yeah, but
what
if
I think Pitts is going to do,
there's no way in hell I would give you Kittle for $5 because I would throw him in on the flex if nothing else.
That's fair.
Because and not to mention, we don't really know what's going to happen with Pitts, right? He might get the NFL. You're like, dude, that guy can't get off the line. What the hell's wrong? Or
a problem.
Or God forbid.
Here's a tasty one. Here's a pork chop.
Just about to say. No, just like Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp. Especially with Cam Akers gone now, sign me the F up. Give me all of this year. Matt Stafford, I think, he has the potential to truly blossom into the number 1 pick that he was, truly blossom into the quarterback everyone expected him to be with this offense.
I will say he has a propensity for really inflating the fantasy values of his receivers and also his tight ends. So Everett's gone now. Higbee is a real nice sleeper in the tight end class for me. Every year there's one tight end who kind of, busts through and really outperforms his ADP. Everybody knew about Waller coming into last year, but I mean, he far exceeded what anybody paid for him. I don't know that Higbee can be Waller, but he could be 75% of what Waller was last year, in my opinion, as long as he stays healthy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about Higbee, man. He kind of makes me nervous. So I got Josh Allen, so I'm pretty set on my team at this point.
Well, you guys are gonna love this because I'm really big on this guy. I don't ask me to explain it. I just loved him in college, and I think Urban's a college coach. He's gonna lean on this dude big time.
I was gonna go.
I love him in best ball. Is what I love him in.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that sums it up about right. I was about to go the complete opposite end and say I'm still really loving James Robinson this year. I think people are. I think that people are thinking Etienne's going to take more of the work than he really is. And
I think he has to handcuff. I think if you grab one in a traditional,
grab the other.
You better grab the other one like right afterwards, because once one goes, I think everyone's going to go, especially considering our drafts that are all pretty much everyone in our drafts are familiar with the AFC South. There's no way that they're just going to let, James Robinson go in the 14th round or whatever in like a draft out in Los Angeles or something.
Yeah, well,
Now Julio is one of the biggest question marks to me, because how long is it going to take for him to gel? And if he does gel, how many touches is he going to get every Sunday?
So, I mean, he's got what? I mean, that he can end up being the third option there behind AJ Brown and Henry.
He could be the fourth option behind Ferkser around the end zone, because Julio doesn't catch touchdowns and Ferkser does. So that's the other thing you worry about, is it? And I don't think it's all his fault that he's not catching touchdowns. First of all, can you design a route about 2 yards deeper? I think, but at the same token, we know how the Titans like to play that offense. They like to pound it in the goal line. And when they're not doing that, they're doing play action with the wide open, no name tight end sitting out there in the corner. This guy here, man, his injuries concern me, but if you can get him for $2, that's a steal.
Yep, it's a steal. The concussions worry me more than anything, just because we've seen, who was
mine or his.
Cooper Kupp.
Those are always a worry.
Yeah, yours are well documented.
I still haven't recovered from that one where I put my head through my own wall. What was that, 2 months ago?
Ooh, another pork chop. Mr. Gaskin. Love this guy. I was on record as loving him last year. I mean, I flew him many times on the Handicappers last year. Sometimes he paid off, sometimes he didn't. I think if they were going to sign Gurley, they would have signed him before now. So, I think it's his job to lose.
I mean, Gaskin isn't the most explosive. He's not the most athletically gifted, but he does, from what I've seen and what all the coaches have been saying, he does everything right. He's good in pass protection. He's not going to lose you yards. He's going to make the smart play, and he fits really what Flores and Greer are looking for in that offense. I don't know if he'll be an option that beyond this year, but I think he is going to be a very, very, very strong piece this year.
Well, I don't think Malcolm Brown is going to threaten him in any way.
No,
nor Jared Stokes. So it's his job, and that's what you want out of a running back, is a guy is the guy and is on a team that can run the ball, that's not going to be behind by 17 every damn game, right? So I think he's a solid pick this year. And I think he's undervalued as hell too. I see him in traditional drafts. I'm like, dude, y'all are taking some big risks early in the draft to grab like a Najee Harris. And I think he's just he went to Alabama running backs, blah, blah, blah. Dude, Myles Gaskin has already proven it.
For his ADP and where he's going, you'd rather have Gaskin than like Singletary. The Singletary Moss two-headed monster out in Buffalo. Singletary's going ahead of him. So is Josh Jacobs in most leagues. He just went right there. And I'm not a believer in Jacobs at all, because Gruden doesn't fall in love with running backs. He dates, but he never marries. He just brought Kenyon Drake in.
Exactly, Kenyon Drake. And he brought in another old Alabama running back. I forget who the hell it was, but there was an article out yesterday. He ended up at FAU, but he started at Alabama, and we all know that Gruden just loves Alabama running backs. So I think a lot of people forget that Drake was a Bama guy, but he's got Drake, he's got Jacobs. They were making jokes about how it wasn't too late to bring in Eddie Lacy. What was the other one? Trent Richardson. God, what a bust he was.
Oh God. Joke my mouth a little bit.
I miss the Cleveland Browns being a daily NFL news story. They're actually competent now. They're not a daily NFL news story anymore and trading for other people's garbage.
Dave, the name you were looking for was Bo Scarborough.
Oh, Scarborough.
Yeah, that was the other one.
We had him in Detroit. He was in Detroit. He was a third down back.
I think he played a little bit last year, didn't he?
But
Yes,
there was
he did.
another running
I don't
back.
remember where. But.
There was another running back outside of Bo Scarborough because everyone remembers Bo Scarborough. There was another. I'll find it in a second. They brought a guy in that, if you look up his I guess I can just go to the if this thing's been updated, I can just go to this depth chart thing. But it's a guy that if you look at his Wikipedia or whatever you go to, you're like, that guy didn't go to Alabama, but he did go to Alabama because of it was either BJ Emmons or Trey Ragas. One of those guys, I believe, was the FAU guy. Let me see.
Aaron Rodgers for $1, who, by the way, I understand all the, stuff, but he's being drafted as the QB8. Did nobody watch football last year? Am I the only one that remembers that he passed for almost 5,000 yards and 40 touchdowns?
BJ Emmons, who was a free agent this year, signed from FIU, but he came from Alabama.
That's a good one.
But I mean, yeah, look, just because you can't start at Alabama doesn't mean you can't start in the National Football League. I mean, it's a sad truth.
It's a valid point.
Brian just chimed in. He goes, I don't get this auction crap.
Well, you have to,
rookie.
You have to understand, just basic mathematics, Brian, in order for the auction to make sense. You can tune in next week. We'll do a standard draft for you with crayons.
Yeah, exactly. Crayons. What's his name? Matt didn't want to try an auction. Hated it. Right. And then let's see, we'll go ahead and put someone like this out there and see what people are thinking. And then he did the auction this year with the basketball and absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
It's just once you do the auction, it really is so much more fun than doing the other kind. The only caveat I'll say is that the one we're going to do in Nashville, I think will be really fun because we're all going to be in the same room. Right. And so that's,
I'm beyond excited for that.
Yeah, and we found out there's a place that's famous for their hot chicken around the corner from the house that we're renting. So that's what we're going to get for the lunch buffet or whatever.
Hattie B's or Prince's?
I think it was Hattie B's. I'm almost positive.
Yeah.
Hattie B's.
Hattie B's.
I'm going to nominate this guy just to get your opinion on him.
Nope. My opinion is nope.
What did Dak go for? Oh God, no one I drafted Dak. I thought someone was going to draft Dak. All right, whatever.
I the only reason I didn't, Sean got Aaron Rodgers and I got Lamar Jackson the pick before.
Oh, is everyone else out of money?
Yeah, basically.
$9, $10, $11, and
I was thinking
can't fill out their rosters.
One of these fake teams was going to draft him. Was giving me time to talk about it.
They can't spend more than $1.
I think OBJ's interesting.
He wants a contract, which is hilarious, but
there was an over-under on him the other day on a gambling show I watch, and it's not Gambling's Anonymous, although it should be. It was 900 and something yards for OBJ over-under for this year, and I felt like that was low. And then you start thinking about all the damn talent they have on that team. I was like, all right, well, fair enough. By the way, if this guy goes this low, what the hell is this about? But I'm not carrying 3 quarterbacks. This is a mock draft. I can't trade them off.
And there's a lot. See, I mean, one thing I'm just, like Deontay Johnson, I love him again, but no, I mean, I'm looking at the receivers that are still available, and I mean,
there's a lot still.
All looking at this, all this is telling me is grab.
What about this guy, y'all? What about him? T. Higgins. You got much faith in him this year?
Eesh.
I think everyone's writing off Tyler Boyd in that offense, and I mean,
they are. He's going low.
T. Higgins looked good last year, but they just drafted Jamar Chase to be the number 1. Tyler Boyd has the slot. I think T. Higgins is going to be the one that falls out a little bit this year.
I got a spine rattling chuckle the other day out of their social media team going to Instagram and putting up a picture of Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase, and the scroll bar said, "Name a better three. We'll wait." I'm like, I can think of like 12 teams that have a better three, but okay, make sure you put that on your social media.
AJ Brown and Julio, those two are better than those three.
Right, those two, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and whoever they start at, tight end is better than like I can go 15 teams deep with a better three than that. Stop it, Cincinnati. Win something first.
Sean, Brian claims that he can draw in between the lines with his crayons. I'm assuming is what that was about.
Okay.
That was right
Good
before
for you, buddy.
That was right before he said, "I hate you, Sean." LOL.
Oh, Dave, you snaked Funk Davis out from under me. I didn't even see that you bidded it. I thought I was just getting him for a buck. I like Funk Davis. I mean, that team's going to suck, but they're going to be down 21-0 in the first quarter of every game. So somebody's going to get something. It's going to be him and Pitts and Ridley.
Yeah.
Kareem Hunt. Would anyone have any reason to draft him if you don't have Chubb?
I mean, he's still
if you have Chubb.
value.
Yeah, if you have Chubb, but I mean, that's the only reason I'd touch him.
He's being projected 700 yards. Yeah, I mean, it's not
If you're in a deeper league, I would look at him as like an RB2, but like in an 18 league, I mean, you shouldn't have much need for him outside of the.
No. We're only doing 8 teams because we didn't want to be here all day, but I'm looking at like a 10 to 12 team league where you might use them as a flex, or even possibly just if you're deep enough, your actual bench guy. All right, so what defenses are out there? Let's debate some of these. I'm going to go ahead and throw Pittsburgh out there because I know that's a popular one. I think they're going to have to lean on that defense quite a bit, and it was pretty good last year. There's a couple more that I think I would have ranked over them, like Tampa Bay and Washington. And now that they might have an offense, Chicago's defense, I think, gets better just because of that. But why the hell is Buffalo's defense ranked so high in fantasy?
Who are they playing week 1?
Yeah, I mean that division is improved from the cesspool it was last year. So, and their defense, isn't all that either.
Terrible. I don't understand why. Now, maybe some of the defenses have gone, and I haven't been paying attention. But right now, we're looking at projected right now number 1, tied with all these other teams, is Buffalo. Not even at I'm not putting Buffalo on, not even at gunpoint. I'm like, dude,
they did add a lot of pieces. I mean, they faced Steelers at home week 1. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know.
That's the biggest head scratcher to me.
Ooh, here's my boy. Look at that beautiful head of hair.
I already have 2 tight ends, or else I'd be looking at him.
Yeah, I got Kittle, but I'll definitely double down on Kittle and Higbee. I mean, they're going to play each other twice, and those could be some intriguing games, shall we say?
I ended up with Waller.
Yeah, I'll get to my number 1 defense in just a minute when it's my turn to nominate. But it's not sold on. I'm not sold on the Steelers just because I'm worried. I'm worried they won't be able to move the ball, or Ben's going to throw some easy picks, or they're just going to. Every time I think about Deontay Johnson, I think about the movie Unnecessary Roughness, where the guys at the line of scrimmage going, "The ball is my friend. The ball is my friend." Everybody on the sideline when it's in the air is like, "Don't throw it to Stone Hands." Dude had so many drops last year. I knew it was bad, but then I actually looked up the numbers. He was by far the worst wide receiver in all of football last year that had more than like 50 targets on drops. So, you hope he can work that out, but just go to the Bolitnikoff Memorial in Tallahassee. I mean, there's just bottles of Stickum, laying around. I mean, good Lord, man. All right, so here's my actual top defense. See how you guys feel about this one.
Yeah, I just said that they were one of my top defenses. I mean, it just
that front 7.
They're so good in the front 7. It's insane.
Stupid
how good they are. Like you're gonna have you're going to have, I mean, they broke Burrow in half in whatever week 9 last year. I mean, that was just the appetizer for how good they can be.
If Dak is healthy, have backup plans when they play the Cowboys, because if Dak is healthy, that offense is going to be lightning. But other than that, I mean, I don't know why they would regress in any way. That they were one of the top defenses last year, so I don't see how they would be anything but that.
Yep.
Trying to see here. I always end up picking like the wrong site where the layout is terrible. But I was going to look at what were the results for the Buffalo defense last year, and looking at this, they gave up 17 to the Jets, 28 to the Dolphins, 32 to the Rams, 23 to Vegas, 42 to Tennessee, 26 or 28 to Kansas City, 32 to Arizona, 44 or 34 to Seattle, and that's a top defense? No way in hell.
And the Rams game was one of my favorite games last year. They were actually up, I think, 21-0 in that game and got a pick 6 off Goff. So a lot of their fantasy value came off of that game. And then McVay just, ripped off a few touchdowns on them and got them back in the game in the fourth quarter. Yeah, I don't see it with their defense. They're not stout up front. Their strength is in the back seven. They're really good at linebacker with Edmonds and Milano. And obviously they've got White and Hyde in the secondary, but their front four is really, really mediocre.
Well, and that's part of the theory this year. I mean, they spent their first 2 picks on defensive linemen. They tried to bolster that with Rousseau. I forget who the second player was, but no, I mean, I do think they are a top 10 defense for sure. Whether they're going to be that much higher, I don't know. I don't think so, but.
All right, so realistically, we can start putting a cap on this because Sean's got to run here in a few minutes. We'll get through this pick, and then we'll look at everyone's teams because we're realistically at the end.
Yep, I got a kicker left, and Trosh has got a few spots to fill, but he can pretty much just pick of the litter stuff here.
All right.
Rojo, okay.
So this is what my team looks like. I got Josh Allen, DK Metcalf, Cooper, Jones and Harris, Pitts, Dobbins, really deep in the running back with Swift and Henderson, and then Thielen and Deontay Johnson, and then Davis may or may not even get in the game. And then I got Dak as a backup. The only thing that I would have liked to have had was a little more depth at receiver, maybe an extra tight end. But I don't really worry too much about tight ends because a couple of them will emerge and you can just stream on a bye week. So it's really not that big a deal. Steven's team looks like this. He's got Jackson, Ridley, Lamb, CEH, Carson, Evans, Waller. And then his bench, he's got 2 receivers with Kupp and Beckham. He's got 2 running backs with Gaskin and Jones. And then he also has an extra tight end in Hawkinson. So that's a pretty solid team as well. And then Sean, A-Raj, McLaurin, Robinson, Gibson, Montgomery, Kittle as the tight end. And then you got Sermon as your flex, which I think in most weeks in a PPR or a half point PPR, Woods would end up being your flex. ETN, Julio, DJ Moore, James Robinson, and Tyler Higbee with Washington's defense. So I think all in all, pretty good teams. We won't be here long enough to look at the overall draft results where they rank teams and scoring, but that whole thing's hokey anyways. If you're doing these mock drafts, don't pay attention to that because they are not taking into account of what a real team looks like. They're more looking at, bye weeks and calculations and blah, 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 blah. I think the best advice I can give anyone in fantasy football is it's your team, draft however the hell you want to draft. Because you're going to be that team, you're going to be watching that team, and if you crap the bed and you suck, you lose a few bones. But if you come in great, then you're going to be happy as hell, and you might win a few bucks unless you're just like in a free league or whatever. By next week, I believe, I'm not sure, but by next week, I believe I will have the new fantasy football armchair quarterback trophy displayed somewhere in this area when we haven't figured it out yet. And I've went back and dated it back to, it goes all the way back to 2014, where we've had at least one of these leagues where all the guys on the armchair quarterbacks have been in a league, and we're putting the champions all the way back to 2014, including last year where Sean won his first one. So that's going to stay back here almost like a Stanley Cup trophy. And then we're going to ship out a smaller trophy each year to the winner going forward. I'm not dating it back to 2014. So if you won like 2015 or something, go buy your own damn trophy.
Since you guys are coming to Nashville, you said it's the Stanley Cup. Can I talk anybody to bringing it to Nashville? Like, can I drink out of it since I won last year? Or we just not gonna do that.
This is a separate.
I'm just joking. I know you're not gonna do that.
No.
You said Stanley Cup. I got really excited.
The one
the Stanley Cup. It's the greatest trophy in all of sports.
The one that's going to be displayed behind me is the draft we're doing that Wednesday morning live on the show.
The hosts. Yeah,
right.
The hosts.
And it's not an auction because you can't you see how difficult it is.
No.
You just cannot
be a 3-hour show.
You can't do it. It's impossible. We will do an auction draft of 2 Friday nights on YouTube. And that one, we're going to open up the Zoom room. Anyone that wants to jump in can jump in. That one should be a lot of fun, but I don't feel like I have to actually host that thing and be talking. Like, people are, we get 5, 6, 7 guys in there. People can just, prattle away. But yeah, and Trosh, you won one of the years because I had to write the names down to send to the trophy lady. So I do know, I want to say 2018, but it might have been 17. It was somewhere in that neighborhood. Someone's at the door. Sean, what is your walk-off for the day? Let's see if
my walk-off is enjoy the baseball today. Go Braves. We're coming for first place. And can't wait for football season, man. It's almost here. I didn't watch the game Thursday night. The season for me starts a week from today or a week from tomorrow when the Lions open up against the Bills.
Y'all carry the load for like 2 minutes. Give me a second.
Trush, what's your walk-off? What are you watching today?
Oh, I don't know exactly what I'm watching, but I mean, okay. It's definitely gonna be some baseball. I mean, like for my walk-off, I'll go definitely for some DFS. Yu Darvish, great pick today. He is the top pitcher. You want to save a little bit. Austin Gomber, been a killer at home, facing the Marlins again, who are not doing too well against left-handed pitching, just not doing well in general. Austin Gomber only 6,600. And then if you're looking for a team to stack today, give me every single ounce of Cincinnati facing Mitch Keller at home. Castellanos back in the lineup. Castellanos only $4,200. Just lock in every bit of that, every bit of Cincinnati. And you got Toronto facing Garrett Richards. I can say the exact same thing about them.
Okay. I'll give a couple DFS names really quick. The first one that I would jump all over if I could get my hands on it is start any Braves that you have, not only because they've been hitting hot, but also Josiah Gray, who they got from the Dodgers. He's got a live arm, but is also very, very young and is very high and up in the zone and misses outside a lot. It's not going to be what the Cardinals did the other night, where I feel like they walked 27 batters against the Braves, but he could walk 7 in 5 innings easy, and put himself in some positions where Austin Riley, Freddie Freeman, who by the way is going to win back-to-back MVPs if he keeps this up. Those are a couple names to keep an eye on. As far as a pitcher that I really like, he's going to be a little bit more expensive. He's not middle of the road, but Luis Garcia at home against the Twins tonight. I mean, the Twins can't hit just at all. And Garcia is a very high spin rate, very live fastball guy. I know it's in Minute Maid, but Garcia's actually pitched a lot better in Minute Maid than he's pitched, or if we're still calling it Minute Maid, he's pitched a lot better in Minute Maid than he's pitched outside of it, for whatever reason. And yeah, you had kind of mentioned Darvish against the D-backs. I mean, the D-backs got nothing. They got Ketel Marte and David Peralta and Carson Kelly, and none of those guys are exactly 1972 Johnny Bench or 1961 Roger Maris, and the rest of the lineup is just not what you want to have if you're trying to start a professional baseball team in the year of our Lord 2021. So I got a jet. I got to get to work. But we will talk to everybody. We will talk to everybody next Saturday.
All right, but what everybody did miss when I ran to the door, some guys at the door knocking, accusing my dog of running around chasing Nate. I was like, dude, my dog's like crippled and like, overweight. Like, what are you talking about? My dog's asleep in the back. He goes, oh, I guess it's the next door neighbor. And it's so funny because he goes, all right, well, I'm prepared to go get mad at that guy now. I'm like, don't stick your chest out here, dude. Because he
you're in Florida.
Literally, he comes up to my waist and like is about half the size of my thigh. I'm like, I mean, shit, I'll come in and kick your ass if you want me to kick your ass. He was like, oh,
Florida man.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Yes, sir. Stephen, what's your walk off?
Oh, I was just covering it. Just stack every little bit of Cincinnati and Toronto you can. If you want a fun game to watch, go a little off the radar about Baltimore and Tampa Bay. Shane McClanahan been a phenomenal pitcher over the past 5-6 starts, but Baltimore has been the best team against left-handed pitchers in the past 2 weeks, only striking out 15% of the time, walking 8% of the time. It should be a very fun matchup.
All right. Well, I apologize to everyone that that I dipped like that, but that guy wasn't going away. I was like, what in the world is he up to? We'll see y'all next Saturday. Stephen, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Have fun. And I'm assuming it's Carolina that you're headed to.
No, going for golf weekend down to Sebring, Florida.
Oh, cool. Awesome, man. Have fun.
All right, have a good weekend, everybody.
Welcome to the